Hey Nick, we need a tagline for the podcast.
No.
Real life opinions. Movie reviews told by fans and not critics.
And shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand. And swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow ever forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. In nomine Patri, et Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. So tonight, it's my pick. We are watching Boondock Saints.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, Corey, show a little more enthusiasm.
Woohoo.
He sucks.
Your inflection needs work, Corey.
Right.
Woohoo with higher pitch.
What
Yes.
does inflection mean?
Inflection?
Yeah.
The tone you put into a word. Like, here's something I was going to say. Let's use the words, fuck off, Jeff. Now, tell Jeff to fuck
Amazing
off.
how that
Hold
comes
on.
to your
Tell-
first thing.
I used Laura
Wow.
last time I brought this up.
Wow.
Tell Jeff to fuck off.
Fuck off, Jeff.
Now, tell Jeff to fuck off completely differently.
Go fuck yourself?
No. No. The point is, you got to use the same
Laura.
words.
I don't know what I did to earn this hire.
She has it all in the top of her head, too.
It's
Like, I get it from him, but not from you.
you change the inflection to change the subtext of dialogue. So it was like, so fuck off, Jeff. Fuck off, Jeff. And it's like, fuck off, Jeff. Fuck off, Jeff. You know, and we could go, and all these different, that's inflection.
I think we got to
Tone.
talk to you about your anger issues. Like,
Oh, I'm fine. but you gotta dip into
Isn't that
all your
emphasis,
emotions
though?
to be a good actor.
Isn't that
That
emphasis?
is emphasis, too.
Inflection and emphasis, they're all kind of.
Okay.
You want to Google it,
Not really.
but in theater we called it emphasis,
Okay.
or
Haha.
sorry,
Anyway.
we called it inflection.
Anyway,
Your tone. And
I thought inflection was like thinking about yourself or thinking towards yourself.
That's self-reflection.
Close enough.
they rhyme.
So,
Yeah, right?
we gotta give Corey like a shot of something because he's really just.
It's early. I have more time to fall apart. Oh, God, Norman Reedus is young in this.
Isn't he?
I have to ask you guys a question. The girl they're talking about that gets murdered right at the beginning, the priest,
Yes.
is that supposed to be their mom?
No.
No?
No.
It's just supposed to be a coincidence, or just not even a coincidence. It's just a story they talk about, eh?
It's just a story they talk about because the basis on this one is these guys are true Irish. So if there's a mass or something, they're going to church because Irish are generally Catholic.
They're what?
They're generally Catholic. That's
No.
the religion.
Before that, they're true wires.
No, generally.
You said something, yeah.
Generally, you know, the Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings?
Apparently.
Waylon
No,
Jennings
they-
did the song.
Really?
They are good old boys.
Yeah.
They are.
That makes sense, actually. I don't know if I freaking love these guys. Like some of the best, and it's a literal bromance because they're supposed to be brothers in it. There's such a good chemistry between them, and it's
Oh my God.
just funny watching
Norman
them. Like
Reedus is getting tongued by his brother.
I think that's why.
He beat with a pig leg.
That was a tongue.
No,
I
that
thought
was
he grabbed the tongue.
that was
That's why this movie works, is because of their chemistry on
Totally.
here. Like, this is a poorly done movie. Can we all agree? Like, the movie's
it's
actually
not
that well
it
done.
was a low budget movie.
It was
but-
clearly a low budget movie that, giving it more of a budget wouldn't have made it better. But there was.
Better editor would have made it
The
better.
story
But,
wasn't
yeah.
what sold the movie. It was the chemistry and it was the action sequences.
A little bit of shock rock kind
Little
of,
bit, yeah.
kind of thing.
Well, very Dropkick Murphy's
I know.
soundtrack.
You know who really sold this? It was the hedgehog.
Willem Dafoe?
The hedgehog. You know who the hedgehog is? Ron Jeremy? Oh, come on.
no.
He was the name. They got that name so that they could get the producers to say, oh, we'll drop money on that.
Aside from William Dafoe, which is his pre-Spider-Man, like, Ron Jeremy was the biggest name at the time with this movie.
Probably.
Billy
Yeah.
Connolly, probably.
Yeah, Billy Connolly.
You're right. You're right. Maybe
But
Billy Connolly.
where was he huge and popular? Like comedy scene, right? He was stand up, was he?
He was very much
Bob
I-
Marley?
Yeah.
That's
Is that-
not that Bob Marley.
I would say that's a pretty big name.
Norman Reedus is big now, but he was
No,
a
he was a nobody.
This was pre.
Because then, like, there was this, then there was Blade 2, and he was still a nobody.
Was he in Blade 2?
He was
Yes.
his sidekick or whatever, remember? After Whisper
Oh,
was
yeah,
kidnapped?
He was the one that flipped open. Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, and then,
It's been a long time since I've seen Blade 2.
and then, obviously, The Walking Dead launch padded him, so.
Yeah. So this is kind of like Walking Dead was an amalgamation of all his roles before, like
Yeah.
fighting the undead.
There's Billy right
Well,
there.
Who? Billy?
That's Billy Connolly right there, yeah.
Where?
That's
Rocco.
not Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly's. He's kind of
Billy
like
Connolly's
Steve Martin. He's
sorry.
always had white gray.
Yeah,
hair.
no, sorry.
Yeah.
Billy
That's
Connolly
the
was dad.
Italian. The
Yeah.
Italian.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's Rocco.
That's-
You don't see Billy Connolly till the end of
That's
the
the
movie.
funny man.
Yeah, he's in the second one a lot more.
Oh yeah.
But it's cool
He's the
because
catalyst to all the troubles.
for anybody who doesn't know the story, they're a bunch of Irish. They're really quite religious, but they're just sick of all the evil and all the mobsters in their area. And I freaking love this bartender, by the way.
That was Tourette's before we recognized
Yeah.
Tourette's.
So, and the whole thing that sets it off is literally what makes them tired of it all is they're
Yeah,
having a little bit of fun in the bar
The bartender with the Tourette's.
with the bartender with the Tourette's, and then the Russians walk in.
yeah.
See, it's always the Russians' fault.
Oh, those
Yeah.
Russians.
There was- You know, I swear this was like the third movie or one of three movies in this time period that all had like mobsters shutting down a bar and people banding together to go against them.
Well,
I
that
swear
was
it
a
was-
very common trope.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Low budget movies with mobsters trying to close down bars. It was like the popular theme in the late 90s, early 2000s.
And spoiler, they kill the bartender, don't they?
No,
Don't they?
not till the second movie.
Okay.
Not this bartender. A different bartender dies.
I will say.
No, same bartender, but second movie.
No. In this movie, there's a bartender that dies, but not
Yes,
that bartender.
but not the moment Tourette's.
I started watching this last night, and Kathy started watching it. My wife started watching it with me, and she actually says, "Okay, this looks interesting." My wife's one of those strange. She loves action movies from the '80s. You know, one of the reasons I love her so much. And she was certain we'd get up in the morning and watch this again, but I managed to slog my way through it last night.
That one Irish guy on the right, you can't see him right now, but the long hair bearded one as well, not
Wait.
obviously the Italian, but the other one, you can
That
see him
one.
with the black t-shirt there at the end, is like a mixture of Dimebag Daryl and Zach Wilde.
Corey, nobody listening to this podcast can see anybody you're pointing at.
Yeah, I can.
And then you have the dumbass cops who all just happen to be Irish as well.
Oh my god, this idiot inspector, he's such a moron. Like, crushed
And then
by a
there's
big man.
Freaking Willem Dafoe. He's like an artist.
This is something I found odd. We get to see this whole like puts on his Discman and does this kind of weird, you know, I'm gonna get into my music and do it. He never does it again in the movie. There's no back reference to that.
He does do a river dance.
Yeah, but that's
No.
mocking somebody. That's very different. Like this is supposed to be. I'm gonna get into the zone. I'm gonna do my thing, and I can get into this da 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 da. And then it never gets back to anything else. It's just this random one-off thing. Again, so I think somebody let Willem Dafoe do whatever you want. You're a big name.
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure he had free reign for this movie.
Who's the
so-
biggest name in this movie?
Yeah, William Dafoe.
Willem.
Yeah.
Prey is going to correct us nonstop on that.
Yeah, this was. I feel like he didn't he was known before Spider-Man, but I feel like he became a big name after Spider-Man. Am I incorrect in saying
Well,
that?
was it Shadow of the Vampire, I think? That was in the 80s, I think.
That was a movie I've never heard of, so that's not helping make the case that he was a big actor at the time.
Fine.
Like I know he was known.
In there was a movie, you know the movie Nosferatu, the original black and white 1922 movie, right?
Yes.
So the story of Max Schreck, the actor who played Nosferatu, They were so convinced that he was actually a vampire that they were actually scared of him because he was so mysterious and so kept to himself, and he's like didn't talk, and so they made a movie about the making of that movie, and Willem Dafoe played Max Schreck.
And that was Shadow of the Bat?
Shadow of the Vampire.
Vampire?
Yeah.
Where did you get bat out of
Bat,
all of
vampire.
that?
There's vampire bats.
Did you? I saw this meme today. It was the funniest damn thing in the world. It's like Robert Pattinson's the worst vampire. It took him 14 years to go from a vampire to a bat.
Okay, so
that was a year after this. Shadow of the Vampire was a year after this.
Oh, was it? I thought that was 80s. Holy cow! Okay.
This was, what year was this? 99?
2000 on the nose.
Oh yeah, okay. It was filmed
it's-
in 99, released in 2000.
it's credited as 99 at the end of this movie, but
Yeah.
sometimes on Wikipedia
Well, yeah,
it'll say 2000.
If it was here and then released here type thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Body of evidence. Look at all of his pre-2000 Wild at Heart. Anybody recognize anything?
nope.
Speed 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was the bad guy in
Yeah.
Speed 2, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I do remember that, yes.
The English Patient.
Oh yeah.
I still haven't
We've
seen it.
talked-
Yeah, I
so
still
he-
haven't seen it.
The Loveless, Streets of Fire. You know, I agree. In my mind, Spider-Man launched his name to a new plateau for sure. But I think Hollywood-wise, he was branded like he was recognizable.
I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he was an unknown.
No,
That's not what I was
He
trying
was
to
a
say.
solid
Not claiming he
B-lister
did say
back
that.
back before. He was a solid B-lister
Yes.
until
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and then he became an A-lister.
And
Wow.
Oh,
A-minus
actually, The Last Temptation of Christ,
Yeah.
oh, that was
which
pretty
was a
big.
clear defining moment of who he was.
Yeah,
And that was 88. So
that was pretty big.
I've heard of it.
But so
Yeah.
That's okay.
I also was watching this last night with my wife. She'd never seen it, and she hates this kind of
Oh.
stuff where it jumps from.
Platoon.
Oh yeah.
Why are we
but,
forgetting these huge movies he was in?
But Platoon, he wasn't. He was like a bit player in Platoon, I thought.
Well, Platoon was an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
So, but
I couldn't remember if it was Platoon or Apocalypse Now, so I didn't
Nobody
want to
thinks
say
of one actor when it. Well, you know those movies. Nobody thinks of one actor with those movies. They think of everybody.
Yeah.
and that's why they were so good.
Like
because
Charlie
they were an
Sheen,
ensemble
right?
cast.
Like Charlie Sheen was known for that movie, but at the same time, he was not that movie. So
That's right.
Me and the wife are watching this, and she hates it when a movie jumps ahead in time, then jumps back in time. And I try to explain to her it's only for the fight scenes.
well,
And
she had
I-
a hard time with Pulp Fiction, didn't she?
so I'm guessing you proceeded to mansplain her how movies go, and then that's why you have the black eye today.
I told her just like it doesn't do that all the time. Just appreciate it.
Just appreciate it.
I love this this method of storytelling where you show up at the crime scene and they're trying to figure it out and you don't know yet. I actually really like that.
See, and for me, the way that they filmed it is like doing it that way, where they're jumping back. It's as the way they lead into it is they're telling you how it
Yeah.
happened. So it's for me, it's not jumping around.
Well, it's very even like I mean CSI did it all the time. One of the best crime dramas, and I will call it that, ever in my opinion, is Silence of the Lambs,
Oh yes,
and that movie did that.
and
so,
just so you know, David, Silence of the Lamb is not a horror movie.
David,
David.
Oh.
Oh, I only say David when I'm mad
Okay,
at him.
sorry. I didn't know you knew that. So
Even though Mike picked why can't I think of his name all of a sudden?
Hannibal?
Hannibal
Hannibal
Lecter.
Lecter.
My God.
Did you just say Lectum?
Lecter.
Hannibal
yeah, you
wrecked
killed
him.
him.
Hannibal damn near killed him. Oh, sorry.
So even though Mike picked Hannibal Lecter as one of his top 5 horror villains,
He's a
Or
horrific
villain.
character, but the movie was not
Well,
horror.
I was going to say I was a little green in that sense. There was a mix-up between horror or villain or whatever. So
And Corey and I agreed with him on that one. He is a great horror villain. The movie itself is not a horror movie.
I got respect for my list, and I'm okay with that. I do want to mention something.
Jurassic Park is not a horror movie.
I'm just saying T-Rex is more horrific than Hannibal Lecter. That's what I'm saying.
I'll
They
support
both
you on
eat
the
people.
argument, but I won't necessarily agree with you. No, I wanted to say, when you're doing this timeline jump type thing, it's a hit and miss thing. I like it when it's well done. but it's like a time travel movie. You could screw it up quite easily, and it doesn't work. Now, in this case, I don't mind it because they explain it. They show it to you when you need to show it. It's just like we're in the cops. The cops didn't see it happen, so when we don't get to know till the guys explain it. So we're in the mind frame of the people telling the story. So when the brothers are there, that's when we get to know it.
See, the thing is, these movies aren't
that.
filmed in order either, right? So
Most films are usually not filmed
right.
chronologically.
So I'm saying, like, it's a lot of the post process that makes it good, not so much the movie itself.
Editing.
Yeah.
Hey, don't we love William Dafoe being a smug asshole here to the other cops?
Right, when they're coming out of the
There's no why.
elevator, whatever.
Willem?
Yeah.
It's Willem. Yeah,
As
Willem.
in Ethan Suplee and Mallrats, Willem.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when they're coming out of the elevator and they're talking about that, it takes a really big fucking guy to do that. Oh, really?
He's so freaking flamboyant.
He dances that line where I start feeling you're just being a dick, and I start to lose my endearment towards his character, and it's just like, you're just being a dick now. I mean, the guy's trying, even though he's wrong, and he was actually right once, and Willem still at least once. At least.
Oh,
once.
are you talking the cop?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
As they progress,
He was right when he said one guy with 6 guns.
Yeah.
And Willem goes,
well, I guess it's possible, but
yeah.
I love these guys in their friggin' house coats just hanging out at the hospital.
Covered in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with
Nuns
the nun
covered
that's
in blood.
been beat up and, yeah.
It's kind of... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you go first.
I was going to say, what the movie did for me, it engaged me with this, with their relationship, the two brothers kind of thing. Otherwise, I probably would have fell off relatively quick because it didn't grab me other than their relationship. I needed to find out where they went, and then the movie picked up for me, and that's where I got hooked.
Well, and like Corey said, the first 5 minutes of the movie is really slow.
Yeah.
I tried to get my wife to watch this movie once, and she couldn't even sit through the first 15. I'm like, all right.
I think that you need that first 5 or 10 minutes to establish who everybody is, though.
Yes.
Well, yeah, typically that's the story. You got to introduce your characters.
Well, and given it that first 5-10 minutes too, especially with the brothers, it makes you understand with the prayer and everything else because it delves into their religion.
Well, because I love how... Sorry, I love Willem Dafoe. I love how they're heartily religious men.
Yes.
They're very strict. They are very God-fearing, God-loving men, but they're hitmen at the same time, essentially. So
Well, it started out self-defense.
It started
out.
Yes.
Well, I guess tying the one Russian down and lighting his ass on fire wasn't really
It was
self-defense.
just a bar fight.
Okay, so the question is, strapping, tying him to the bar.
It was just a bar fight.
No, when you involve ropes and restraining somebody, it goes beyond. But I'm not going to argue that with you.
Them and their ropes in this movie.
So
eh?
it was a kinky bar fight. Okay?
You and your ropes.
guess what kind of
That's
bar
a
it
line
was.
in there. I did want to mention that when did they start their legitimate vigilantism? Like
Right here.
What,
So-
not right here. This is where they turn
But
themselves in.
It's when
So-
they spend the night.
So they didn't do anything prior to this.
No,
Okay, so this is the cue to
so
their
they've-
life of vigilantism.
they've turned themselves in right after the cop says they're long gone. They're scared.
Right,
You
yeah,
have
no,
to
no, I
trail
knew
a
that.
potato.
Again,
And they said
because-
you have better luck with a beer.
Again, because they jump around a little bit, even though it's just the fight scenes, I kind of lost track. Were they doing this before, or
No.
was this the catalyst to them becoming there?
No,
So-
yeah, it's the catalyst because it's when Willem gets. See it there? I said it right. When
I was pretty proud, I'm not gonna lie.
Right, when he tells the other cop, you don't have to ask me, but I'll ask your mommy if your friends can spend the night. That's when all of a sudden they're sleeping, the water's dripping on them, and it's all of a sudden we have to do this.
So they remember the
prayer.
the prayer from the beginning of the movie while they're sleeping in the cell overnight, and that's when they come to the revelation. Like it was kind of confused. My wife was asking about it. Oh, or this like some metaphysical thing. Like, no, it just came to them in the middle of the
and
night
I'm going to
together.
correct you on that one too, because the prayer that they're remembering is not the Lord's Prayer. It's
Yeah,
their family prayer.
you were the one that said prayer.
But
Yes.
no, the beginning scene
And
is
that's
just
not-
the Our
that's-
Father. The prayer they use before they murder people, something else completely.
The scene that I'm talking about isn't their prayer, though.
Is it the
They're
Lord's
remembering
prayer?
the seminar from the priest.
Okay, so it's the Lord's Prayer then.
It's not the Lord's Prayer. It's not a prayer. It's a seminar. Or
Or they're remembering,
sermon?
not the prayer,
Sermon.
the sermon.
Sermon.
Yeah.
I'm
seminar.
just sitting there trying to figure a way how to antagonize this and amp it up for entertainment value.
Oh no, well, that's
I'm
not
not
religion.
Sorry.
No. It's a classic
See-
bar fight.
Right.
Who hasn't tied
Freaking
a
Irish, eh?
Who hasn't tied a guy to a pool table and got his ass on fire?
Am I the only
I thought it
Irish
was the bar.
person sitting at this table?
Well, I've got Irish in my lineage too, but I mean, it's just like.
Am I the only 90% Irish person sitting
Are
at
you
this
that?
table?
Are you strong Irish?
I'm
that sense,
strong Irish.
it explains that you're through the last few months I've known you. You are very predominantly pro-Irish.
Yes.
So you know
I got like a lot of
that is
Welsh.
the bar that they lit his ass while he was strapped and that's it.
That was self-defense.
It was so
Okay, so this fight afterwards is self-defense, right?
So no, this scene. See, this scene here is like, oh, I know what happened, and then this is where they clue in how they all got killed.
Mm-hmm.
But
I wonder if they're confessing it to the cops right now.
No, he's telling him everything.
Willem, maybe.
Yeah.
The character, yeah.
Yeah,
But they're
in the
recording
interrogation
it.
room, yeah.
That must have been a really bad toilet for him to lift it up that easily. Because like normally it's a steel braid wire that for the plumbing, and the steel braid wire would be pretty hard to break.
Cough, movie's got a movie.
I was gonna say, do you
Steel
want to
braid wire,
come?
What
do
are
To
you
your
referring to?
most
I know what you're
plumbing for a
talking about,
toilet is like a steel braid wire.
Okay, so you need to come to my buildings and redo all 42 of
So
those.
this
What are they hooked up with?
This is 20 years ago.
Just on
so
the flanges.
Well,
now it is,
on
you're
the-
right.
Well,
like-
you can see it from here. It's a stainless steel one. You can see it from here.
Yeah,
But the fitting itself.
Oh, you're talking the
could be
braided
quite
line?
copper.
yeah.
That looks
That's
like
what
a
you said.
solid
The stainless
copper.
steel braided line.
No, that's
Yeah.
stainless steel. That's not copper.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that would be
I mean,
really.
the video's not super clear, so it's really hard to be definitive.
I could do that.
It wouldn't be hard to break the porcelain. It'd be hard to break the water line. That's
See,
what I'm saying.
And sadly, at my buildings, what he did here is 100% accurate.
You have people throwing toilets off your ceiling?
They could.
Just
I
wait
feel
for the
like
hangover when somebody's got the mattress on the ceiling or on the roof, and
You gotta admire how like skillful of a shot it is with this toilet.
right? I mean, good on him.
Yeah. Like completely miss your brother and everything.
Now, at this point, I do have to say, even for the lineage and everything, this is just fucking crazy. Like,
Wait, there's no way he's surviving this jump. This is right out of
not with
the
not
other
off,
guys.
Yeah, not off the
Well, you
fifth, not off the fifth floor, not without a broken bone or something.
No,
And that guy's skull should have caved in.
Oh yeah. No, the guy that got hit by the porcelain has no chance of surviving. Clearly, the guy that he landed on, they cut and had him jump off of like a 4-foot thing.
yeah, not a 5-foot thing.
Because so
That's like in Dark Knight. It's like a fall from this high won't even kill me. That's the point.
You know-
Breaks his legs.
Just as a reference to this, was it John Wick 3 when John Wick gets shot and falls off the building onto the balcony? That was practical. That was real.
They really shot Keanu Reeves.
They shot that scene off the edge. He fell onto the balcony, bounced off the balcony, and bounced off the dumpster and then hit the ground. Now, they did it in a way where these were all padded and they used a green screen, but it was an actual guy that fell off the building, hit the ledge, bounced off that, and hit the ground.
That
Hence the reason why we need an
There's
Oscar
ads
for...
in Amazon.
yes,
For
there's
some of
ads on
them.
Amazon.
It is
Yeah.
not everything's got to have
I think
unless you
this
want
is-
to pay.
I think this is a good time
Seriously?
for us to take a break here, guys. So we'll come back after the show's back.
Body break, keep moving. Body break, keep moving. Oh, yeah. Body break, body break.
Some skillful sound biting
I
there.
think we still need some of those ABC cartoon ones yet.
Yeah, we could. Wait, I'll squeeze some of those
He
in.
offered to come over and do it earlier for you.
Oh, we'll sprinkle those in. Don't worry.
Just
So like Rocco coming here to get them out of jail, like way to be like, yeah, that guy is clearly going to be a suspect in there when there's 3 of them.
but you don't know at that point that there's going to be.
Well, this is true. This is the scene we were talking about
Yeah.
where they remember the sermon from the priest, the indifference of good men.
That nobody wanted to get involved, but the difference between that and everything else is
Chinese water treatment.
Yeah. No. If it's Chinese water torture, then it'd be dripping.
I can't believe this
Not
is Indiana.
raining.
It's kind of dripping.
I can't believe this is Indiana Jones. And
You
Gerald
and the other
Dixon.
12 people that watch that series are sitting here in awe.
That's why it lasted, 3 episodes?
No, it had like 18. I want to say Harrison Ford showed up in like 2 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I only watched it. I never watched a lot of it. I couldn't get into it, so.
I watched a couple episodes.
See, what was the show? I watched the show, a movie. Was it a movie? And it's one of those things where you got that idiot brother that always does the stupid things, but you supposedly have to love him just because he's your brother.
That sounds like my brother.
And he keeps the Gentleman, the Netflix series.
Yeah.
That's the one brother kept doing these ridiculously stupid things like, oh, I owe $4 billion to the mafia, and then his brother says, okay, fine, we'll fix it, we pay it off, and then he immediately does something stupid to get the mafia That's what the Italian guy is to me.
Oh yeah,
They should have let him accidentally kill himself long ago. Before it gets to the point where he gets shot by whoever he may or may not get shot by.
yeah. Spoiler alert for a 25-year-old movie.
Yeah. Well, you guys are the ones that are always trying to... okay, whatever.
I do. Do you think they'd be heroes like this in real life? Like,
Not anymore.
Not anymore, no.
yeah, the world's become too PG, right?
Yeah.
Though, does anyone remember the real life superheroes?
Ooh, like Chevron?
It was Chevron his name?
There was a guy down in the States.
Yeah.
And he was trained in martial arts, and he did all these, and he had a gang, a group,
Yep.
they all built, and it turns out he got busted for cocaine selling and
Yeah.
and all that other stuff. It was really, there's a whole great
It's an
documentary.
honest mistake. It's fine.
Yeah, it was,
I thought it was a different name than Chevron, but like,
Hey, look.
I'm sure
the
it's
one
name.
guy was,
Right?
anyway.
And here's like one of the biggest porn kings of the 90s.
Ron Jeremy,
Wow.
the Hedgehog.
Did you know he had a 10-second role in Ghostbusters, too?
Which Ghostbusters?
The first one.
Really?
Yeah.
10 seconds. Hey, that sounds
If
about
that. Ha.
right.
No, he was just a guy in the crowd when they had the barricades up at the end of the movie there.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck, is he creepy looking right there?
I know.
Just
I don't care
right
how
there.
big he was. How is it that he became the guy he was?
Heath Ledger stole Rocco's look here, eh? The green under purple with the shaggy hair. That's where the inspiration from the Joker came from.
Sure.
That jacket was clearly purple in the one shot, okay? It's not now, but it was in the one shot.
Because that's
Okay, now it
clearly
looks
not
black.
purple.
The one shot, it's purple, okay? You guys,
Okay.
do I need to rewind it? I will rewind it if we need be, okay?
He's rewinding it.
I,
He's rewinding it.
I don't care if it is purple or not. There's like a half a degree of resemblance to Heath Ledger's Joker.
No.
Especially the beard.
Yeah.
Okay, well, take away the beard.
And the nose?
and his brown hair. And it's
And the lack of
So
Heath Ledger's sultry
right there,
smile.
it's very Jokerish.
No,
It's
that's-
very Jokerish.
that-
I could see it because he's kind of got dark eyes too and everything. I could see
Right,
it.
but the jacket's black.
I know. Look at the light hitting.
That shot.
I'll say the light hitting it there made it look kind of purple.
Okay,
But that's the
some
thing. There's no
do
such
that.
thing as black. It's a
Right.
dark shade of something.
Exactly.
If you ever put a black item of clothing in under a black light, you can see what color it actually is.
what is that? The blackest black. It's like onyx or something.
Onyx.
Onyx?
Or something like that. Is that actually black?
No.
Onyx.
'Cause
Onyx is black.
No, it actually has different
Obsidian
colors
is
in it,
not
too.
black,
Obsidian is
but
Or-
onyx is black
No, I'm pretty sure that
Okay.
has different colors in it too.
because it's smooth.
Black and it's smooth?
Yeah, duh.
Doesn't make any sense.
The very
'Cause I
darkest
make
color
sense.
owing to the absence of
Light.
or complete absorption of light, the opposite of white.
Is black.
That is the definition. Belonging to or denoting a human group having dark colored. Okay, that's not.
What are you searching, sir?
Google's racist, not the black color or pigment.
Like, those aren't mutually exclusive things. Like,
Trade
Google
that
could be
read-
racist and you could be racist as well.
Yeah, but
That's correct. But I'm reading, not.
But he stopped himself from finishing the sentence, so it's Google.
And I'm reading something else. So therefore, we would assume if it was a racist comment, it would be that who is reading.
I can read
That
it.
from which it is read from. Yeah.
The arrogant crime boss, a staple of late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
I
Almost as good as what's his name in The Crow.
I do
Oh, did
not.
you see the Crow trailer?
Yes.
I'm oddly okay with that.
I mean, I've seen John Wick before, but I still want to see that movie. Is
Is that what you're
it's
getting at?
very John Wick.
I don't like Skarsgård, normally that particular Skarsgård, but that kind of turned my mind. I
He
said,
did
oh,
really
I might have
good
a
playing
chance here.
Pennywise, but I'm
Yeah, but you don't
unsure
know
of
it's
it.
him in that, so it's just like it's
I
so.
know it's him.
The eye was actually
Because you read the credits.
the crooked eye was actually Bill himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh, is that
Same as the contortionist
Anyways.
stuff. That's him.
yeah.
I was gonna say the other famous role he had, but never mind.
Warlock. What was that? He did a Netflix series where he was a vampire.
I thought he was Rorschach.
No, that was Jackie Earle Haley.
Oh, am I thinking of the wrong guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about 3 feet shorter.
Oh,
yeah,
I totally thought Rorschach played Pennywise.
And it,
No.
no,
Did not
that
know
was Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, Jackie Earle Haley played Rorschach and Bill Skarsgård played Pennywise.
The more you know.
Yeah, right?
Right?
No,
we need that one. We need that
The
one.
more,
The more
you
you
know.
know.
although they never really said it ever. They just went like this and it was like a rainbow and that was it. So
So I'm just gonna go like this, and the podcast audience will have to guess what's above my head.
there you go. That's the sound.
That's the sound of somebody's pop-ups on my laptop.
You really got to stop watching porn on his laptop, boy.
I told you, I'm not putting it on mine.
Oh my god, the joke he tells here,
Right.
we
now,
cannot tell it on the podcast.
Which
I
one?
know.
I'll have a Coke.
Why not?
Oh, you go ahead.
You go.
I don't remember. I didn't memorize it.
Oh,
Oh, I know it.
It's more racist than Google.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we
So,
got,
I want
we
to tell
got,
it now. Nice and loud.
we got a big girl who needs her light up. Hello, big girl. Please continue talking while I put her to bed.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the more you know sound, but not the
Right.
more you know.
Because they don't actually say it.
So that's not a bad idea.
So this is the scene that Corey and I were talking about at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Because Corey had said that he remembered their prayer. That's the one that they normally go on about.
Yeah.
It's the slogan that's on the wall here that's always stuck in my head. Though while the wicked
While the
stand
wicked-
confounded, call me with thy saints surrounded.
Are you guys sitting here coughing while podcast still going on?
No, we're talking about the slogan on the wall. You're coughing. You just came back and you're like dying on us, Jeff.
Yeah.
If you get me sick again, I'm gonna be mad.
I think you two made me sick.
No.
You were coughing.
I
first.
was not near this sick till after you two got like way sicker than I
You
got
know
last time.
this thing that comes back again and again, right?
No, I was not. I was like, I had like a cough. It was like death plague the other day. Like you two had. You two got me sick.
Oh no! When you saw us, we were healthy-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still coughing. A week later.
Mm. So we love this scene, right? We in consensus about
Right.
loving this scene?
What do you need a rope for? Who doesn't need a rope?
Well, he's got the Rambo knife.
Right. Okay, Rambo. Yeah. And he wants the machine gun, and yeah.
The playful banter works really good just because of their chemistry in this, right?
Is that a 50 cal, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
The end looks like it, but the back end, the front end, the muzzle doesn't looks like it, but the back end doesn't. Looks more like a M60 kind of thing. I can't remember specifically what it's called.
It's a good thing there's rope right there.
Good thing.
Hey, it kind of makes me want to visit Boston. I recently did a trip to Chicago. Much more beautiful than I thought Chicago was going to be. And I feel like Boston would be even more amazing.
Yes.
Hey, look at these churches down here, right? And like some of the bridge infrastructure is very cool. And some of this was shot in Toronto, eh? And I'm trying to pick out what's in Toronto, what's actually in Boston.
Are you sure Toronto wasn't just sound stages?
I would imagine so.
I would bet you everything but the backup scenes of the city are in Toronto.
I bet you too.
Yeah.
This set right here, Toronto, guarantee it.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. Just, Canada's cheaper to do it in. Oh, I love this scene.
Oh, with William Dafoe and his lover?
Yeah, and he wants to cuddle and just be nice.
Mm-hmm. It really tells you who this character is, I think.
I don't. Here's my question. I think it's great color for a character, for a definition, but it's totally not necessary to the definition of the movie. This particular scene, is there relevance to this?
Not to, but does. I kind of hate when someone's sexuality is relevant to the story. Just like, let their sexuality be part of the...
Well, it depends on how it's told, right? Like it could be relevant to the story. Like having sexuality relevant to the story is not a bad thing, as long as it's written in properly.
No,
but this is not relevant
if it's written in properly.
That's what I mean. Where
it doesn't feel gratuitous. It doesn't feel like it's in there for being in there. It just feels like it's there because that's who
it totally feels like gratuitous to me. It's like, how can we shock people more? We're gonna really push the limits of what people are accepting. That's how I felt that was. And Willem Dafoe was the right guy.
Well, I think when you first are introduced to him, you're like, wow, he's really flamboyant. And then as it goes on, you're like, wow, he's really flamboyant. And then you see that and you're like, oh.
Oh, that's why. You know what? You're right. I walk back the gratuitous part of it, but like, I don't feel like it's... I don't know. Do you feel like it's shoehorned in, Mike? I don't feel like.
I feel like they, when they're making this movie, okay, we're gonna do this movie. It's gonna be out there. We want it to be racist and push the envelope of racism and sexuality and this and that, whatever. And what can we do? Oh, that's a good idea, Willem. Let's
now
put
he's
that
gonna river dance.
And I think it wouldn't change the definition of his character if you didn't have it in, but I totally understand the color and having it there, but it is a bit gratuitous.
I think it would be more of an over explanation would be what I would call it. Because like I said, the flamboyancy was left up to your point of view. Is he? Isn't he? I don't know.
Well,
then they show that. They're like, oh, so now it's in your face. I get it. And whereas before, it could have been left up to your own decision. So,
and he does have the cross-dressing scene in it, right? And it does help explain that a little bit.
Well, yeah, that was the one thing. My wife came out at that point. We'll address that later when that scene comes up, because it is kind of a weird scene to me. But
I wanted to backtrack my gratuitous and say it felt organic. It didn't feel inorganic, is what I wanted to say. That was the proper phrasing, because I don't feel like it was shoehorned in. I actually feel like it works for that character, and it's not in there for the sake of just being in there. You're probably right. There is a little bit of shock factor. I won't disagree with that, but I don't know. Sometimes stuff like that is just...
For 2000, and granted it was 24 years ago, but for 2000, this movie pushed the limits for 2000.
Now, I was going to say, I don't think you're far off in the sense that it did have a natural, organic flow to it. But the scene itself seemed like it was like, well, how can we push the edges here and there and that sort of thing. So
this did come out after Chasing Amy, though, and so there'd already been a lesbian love story or homosexual love story at that time.
Yeah, and even then, that was like, holy cow, you know.
And you know what? That movie, I've rewatched it. I love that movie, but some of the stuff doesn't age well in it.
No.
I think this movie aged surprisingly well. It's not super well made, like I said in the beginning.
A lot of the off-the-cuff comments could not fly today.
Could you make this today up the quality, but keep the same story and air it and have success with it?
Totally. The
Totally?
story is not what made
With
it
all the
push
same jokes, with all the same
That's
stuff.
different.
I'm
Yeah,
just
the
saying.
The story and the lines are two different things. The story could be told again today,
Well, no,
but the lines could not be.
that's my point.
Yeah.
This movie was dated poorly. If you were to take this script, update the videography and the filmography and all that stuff, and put it out today, would it go?
It would to our generation, but
Well,
it wouldn't get, like, no millennial, no offense, Jeff,
Yeah.
would, generally
A
speaking.
millennial picked this movie as our movie of the
I
week.
know. Okay,
Yes, but
sorry.
she identifies as something
But that's
else, and
such
we're not
bullshit,
here
though.
about trying to gender pigeonhole anybody or anything like that.
Most
I
people
was,
that I
but-
know that love this movie are millennials. So, like, this is a
Well, this is kind of peak your consciousness. Like we talk about, the 80s, the late 80s is when I was 17, 18. And that's when you're really conscious of politics and social and all that stuff. 12, 13, that's kind of...
I was 21 when this came out.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is peak you.
Yeah.
This is, most movies are geared for
But
that.
see, I mean, off topic and not off topic, I don't get offended. So any of the stuff like Blazing Saddles, etc., if it came out today, which it never could, but if it came out today, I would still watch it.
Oh, totally.
So,
yeah. No, and that's the thing. There's a handful of every generation that is a little more open-minded. Like Logan would totally love to see something come out that's like a Blazing Saddles type thing. But
and
it won't.
Nick and his friends would love this movie. I'm sure your boys. And
I
their
tried
friends
to
would
get
love-
Steven to want to watch it, and he's like, I don't know if I want to watch it. I'm like, I think you do.
See, and even
The problem with that generation now is that the kids don't watch movies. I love how the rope turned out being like the thing that really
The
saved
tether, yeah.
I had a bit of an eye roll on that.
It's
It was
pretty.
like
It's
it
meant to
accidentally
be, though.
worked
This
out,
is still my
right?
favorite scene in the movie, though.
it's the bad TV scene.
Yeah.
Movies got a movie at that point, okay? And I guess love how like the rope worked.
I mean, that's like Mission Impossible when the rope slacks and then he stops like a foot or an inch away from the ground.
Yeah.
That's a movie's got a movie moment, but it's iconic.
William Dafoe calls him on this, like, well, what's this fucking
There's
James Bond
the
bullshit?
prayer right there. They did the prayer right there.
The prayer they always do whenever they kill somebody?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think we've already heard it, have we not?
at the start of our podcast.
Yeah. Well,
It's one of these things. Like as I sat down and watched it, I took in the fun and the nature of it, and then I kind of critiqued it later on after the fact. So in the moment, I thought it was a good movie, and I really got into it. And then after the fact, I look back and I think, what are my moral? Okay, that bugged me. His eyes are
The eye
moving. He's
moving?
moving his eyes.
I think he's supposed to still be alive. That's why. Like he was dying. He wasn't dead yet. But I think what I like is how again them being so God-fearing men, they give them their last rites before they leave.
Here's William Dafoe calls it television. Do you see this on bad television?
Somebody called that earlier.
Bad television.
Yeah.
This James Bond shit never happens in real life. Professionals don't do that.
You don't need the fucking Pope.
See, I think-
I thinking about it now. I don't think the Catholicism aspect will fly today either. Do you guys think?
No.
No. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I thought about the moral impact of this. Like I'm an atheist, but okay. Are we talking? Is this a legitimate thing? Could something like this really come across? I mean, most movie villains, usually use religion as an excuse.
Mhm.
It's not often we
I
get
mean, there's a whole
vigilantes.
100-year war about it.
What's that?
There was a whole 100-year war about it.
Oh, I know. What was that? There was a movie I watched. The guy would give himself, lash him all the time under God's name before he'd murder somebody the next day, and he would whip himself and whatever. And,
Was that Stigmata?
No,
wasn't
wasn't Stigmata.
It was that era, though, was it not?
It was that era.
Yeah.
Stigmata was the one where
People were getting the marks of the
no, she was
or
getting
whatever.
Yeah.
Because
It
Stigmata
wasn't-
and
it
End
wasn't-
of Days came out at the same time.
Yeah, it's
So-
just like it wasn't
and then-
End of Days.
No,
No.
both Gabriel Byrne though.
Now Boondock Saints 2, the bad guy going around copying them, did whip himself.
Ooh.
Was the guy from? I don't think it was. I'm not thinking Boondock Saints 2 though.
Yeah.
As most don't.
We might have a Jimothy come say goodnight. Jimothy, are you going to bed? Good night, James. Huh. Yeah, we can tell we're recording at Jeff's house tonight. All these kids interrupting.
Really,
Must be-
one. Well, you count just one. That's all. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to be antagonistic. A lot. I'm going to minimize the antagonizing. Anyway,
It was just perfect.
That's debatable. That's definitely debatable.
No, it was my response.
Don't you love how they're busting this guy's balls?
And it's actually them, yeah.
you know what? It's a personal thing. I have issues with friends that bully friends.
I mean, that's
And it's
totally
a totally
Lethal Weapon
personal
all
thing.
over again.
Yeah,
They
but it wasn't
bullied
bad like
Joe
this.
Pesci horribly through
Oh
that
yeah.
series.
No, I felt bad for Joe Pesci. I did love that, but I felt how it worked, and I did kind of like that. But Joe Pesci didn't give me endearment either, you know. But I mean, I guess it's just a thing, right? I mean, he's kind of a douchebag anyway, and he ends up getting more trouble towards the group. So, but it's just one of those things. When it comes to friends bullying friends, I'm not a fan of that trope.
That surprises me.
Why is that?
Because I know you.
Why?
So you're saying, you know the phrase, I'm just busting his balls? Are you saying you're against that
No.
thing? Because that's...
Are you,
essen-
are you against ball
no.
busting?
It's one thing to throw out sarcasm and to bust each other up for some of our things, but for example, which inspired I Hate the Truffle Shuffle, because he's a fat kid and they pick his
Good night, Jimmy.
weakest thing that he's probably most self-conscious about, and that's what they use. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you worse? What's your worst anxiety?
But that
about
is
yourself?
definitely
And
a
me
product of
picking-
its time, because a friend would pick on their fat friend. Like, look at Monster Squad. Their nickname of the kid was Fat Kid in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And
So-
again, that's it's one of those things. In my life, in my perspective, when you pick somebody's worst attribute and you hammer somebody on that constantly, I just don't like that, because it's a personal thing for me. I'm not saying anything about tropes and movies and anything else.
What surprises me is I've got so many shortcomings, whether it be humorously or actually, and nobody ever picks on me for it. I'm a little saddened, guys. Come on.
Well, what's your
Destroy
worst
my self-esteem, damn it.
Okay, so what's your worst self-attribute that you hate most?
How much time do you have?
Is it because you're self-deprecating? Because us picking on you wouldn't. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it
like the
becomes
opposite.
pointless if you're,
I hate on myself. That's my worst attribute.
I think what's ironic,
how do we pick on that?
I've had this conversation before, is I hate people like me. Like just like me, not like overall personality, but people who are just like me, I cannot stand. Go figure. So
that's okay. I'd have to understand what it is about you that you think is,
the
like you.
the overshare, the over whatever,
I
the
don't think
comments.
you overshare.
Well, certain things, other things I don't share at all, and I should.
I
but-
mean, I actually love this topic. What's something that you hate about yourself that you would change if you could? Is there something?
it's his height, isn't it?
Why would I change my height?
So you could reach the top shelf.
Oh.
That was in the original Heroes and Clerics. Our original Owen was like just short, like slightly taller than you. She convinced me to do something I should have done a long time ago. What? Get a ladder so you could reach the top? Anyway, no. So I like that. I like that this inspired this. What is it? What is it you don't like about yourself? I'm gonna get to you next.
Oh
What?
God, we don't have time.
Just one thing.
What don't you like about yourself, Mike?
What I don't like about me is sometimes I'm emotionally responsive. Like I will. You could, if you were to say something I'm triggered, I will blurt out the first emotional aspect. And I don't like my weight. I can't stand my weight. And those are the two big things. I would like to have more focus and control over my tongue.
You know, I find it weird when people don't like their bodies. Like, as a short, fat, balding man, I've come to terms with these attributes of my life. And that is the last thing that I need to change. There's a lot of things upstairs that I need to change. But my body itself, not one of them.
Well, I'm like 340 pounds. There's a level of A, health issue.
Well, that's fair.
There's that. B, that there's my inside my head. I have this. You know, we all when we're all inside our own head, when we're looking at ourselves, we all probably feel like we're 18. You know, I don't feel fat. I don't feel, but you know what?
It's a bad time to laugh. A cat just got shot on screen. Sorry,
I love
Mike.
that. No, I love that scene. I did.
It was very reminiscent of Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
right?
But I mean, and I wanna do things that my body weight and shape doesn't allow me to do. You know, I don't need to be 180 pounds and have abs, but I would like to be healthier, better shape. I'd like to go for longer, steeper hikes with my wife in the mountains, and blah blah blah. So
That's fair. That's fair. Like, not liking your body for health reasons, that's one thing, right? not liking your body because you don't like your body. No, I disagree with that.
I agree with you wholeheartly, actually, like wholeheartedly. And I sympathize with you, not to the degree that I can, but for the overall, what you're saying.
The skinny guy.
Yeah.
I'm too carried away.
It's all comparative.
But no, I think that
comparatively at this table.
I think for the most part, again, as long as it's not a health concern, I think everybody, like Jeff said, should be satisfied and okay with their physical state.
That being said, I would like my hair back.
That's why I said okay.
And yet
I'm not saying be completely satisfied, but be okay.
I was going to say, just to touch on that, I don't like body shaming, but I don't like the idea that you should flat out say, oh, you're fat, you should accept you for who you are, period. I don't believe that either. People need to understand if I want to change, you can.
Cough, cough, Lizzo.
Well, I was
fair enough.
I was just going to bring up the Lizzo argument, like women, like, oh, Lizzo's beautiful, Lizzo's beautiful. But don't ever tell a girl that she looks like Lizzo, right? Like,
yeah,
fuck no,
yeah.
no.
It's just, I think we've gone too far in the that 260 pound 12-year-old. You have to love yourself as you are. That is a loaded statement. You have to love the inside. You have to love who you are, your heart, your soul, your mind. But you
can't love your outside until you love your inside, though. Either.
Correct. Yeah. You gotta love your inside first. But
I find that sometimes hating the outside of you makes it harder to change that for a health reason.
I think that's a good comment, but it's like you said, sometimes. And this is the problem. As we talk about this, everything's nuanced. Everybody's different. Everybody thinks of things differently. And I think you're right for many people, and I think I'm right for other people. And we have to know the person we talk about.
But our time is running out here again, guys, so we are just going to take a quick break and be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now let's pick on Laura. What is your insecurities?
I shut down.
No, shut. Or I should say you shut down because of why?
Don't know, but I will shut down. Like it's get too argumentative with me, I'll shut down. My face says it all, but I shut down.
Yeah, she
I would not have guessed that.
She leads by her face, for sure she does.
Very much.
which is good and bad. Like,
Right?
I've never had a hard time reading Laura, but when I see her in one of those moods, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So,
Because and Jeff, I'm positive you've seen me do it.
well, I just remember when your
right.
mom died. Like, I remember
Right.
how that was hard for me because I'm empathetic. I
Right.
just seen how much pain you were
So-
in. So,
Like and that's a perfect example actually. Like when my mom passed away, I shut down. Emotions, everything. I shut down, but it's all on my face.
mhm.
Like if for 10 years. April 10th, if we were doing a podcast April 10th, I'm out.
Yeah,
We do a podcast November 17th, I'm out.
I think, was it a cub meeting or whatever? I just remember that one night you were out because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so November, it was the year before you quit. We had a cub meeting on November 17th, and I thought I'd be okay. And I walked in, I broke, and then I shut right down. I was sent home by everybody. And my face says it all. Like, you piss me off, I shut down, but I'm shooting daggers at you. But I won't say anything.
I kind of thought about when this topic came up. That was kind of that interesting thing is because I'm looking at you guys at this eclectic group of people, and now that you've thrown me in here, and it's just like I can't say that I read any of you very well, but I'm really learning. I think if ever we had to split up and have some sort of a competition, my only hope is with Laura. Laura and I against you two, because I think
You would not stand a chance.
Against me or against you two?
Against you two versus... No, we would destroy you guys.
Yeah,
Laura,
I'm pretty confident
but-
we would
but-
just like
But
dominate.
here's the problem with that too. Like Corey's saying that we wouldn't stand a chance. I know him too well.
Shit.
I know all his
Oh,
fucking
she
weaknesses.
She does.
I think Laura and I have a lot of crossover concepts and ideas, and because I think we're a little further on the artist side. You know what I mean? Like Shakespeare and that sort of thing.
Right?
And
We're more
you know.
cultured than you
I
two.
feel like this.
I'm pretty uncultured, so that's not really an insult. So
I feel like this is going to be a challenge to see. Like, are we going to do this on like views and ratings, or how are we going to gauge this?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
There's
no,
no way we
we
can
can.
make this
Well,
into
well,
a
well,
competition.
Okay, let's put it this. If we're going based on Oscars, let's just go back to that one for a second. If we're going based off Oscars, we listened.
No, I don't think that's
Well,
where we're going.
actually, Jeff came in second. He was only 3 points
Okay,
behind me.
he did
Yeah.
come in second, and
I
I'll give
did
him
a lot
that.
better than you, Laura.
It doesn't
I think
matter.
I got 2.
I listened.
You guys' score was the same.
Yeah.
Right? I listened to your guys' podcast the week before when Mike and I weren't there. And holy fuck, Corey, you worked in a video store.
He was looking up the facts.
Boobs. Yes, I know, boobs.
Okay, we got to talk about the movie for half a second here.
Boobs.
Weird.
Why the fuck do they have Rocco helping them? Like, clearly.
I think he's
Oh,
a
yeah,
fall
I know.
guy, is what he is.
It's a sympathetic. He's kind of like the goofy friend that means well,
What,
and they were trying to be,
Oh, yeah.
trying to make him
But
validate
clearly,
himself.
he was not right in the head.
But I agree with Mike on the sympathetic part,
That's how I see
And-
it.
but not for the reasoning. So they're sympathetic towards him because his bosses tried to kill him.
Wow, this
Right.
is true. But the two brothers, they're very, like, they're jovial, but they're actually very calculating as well, right? Like, some of the stuff is kind of, okay, they're somewhat calculating, I should say
They
that.
took a rope in and fell through the
They're not
ceiling.
Batman. I'll say that, but I mean,
I still stick with, albeit on the opposite end of the law, they still remind me of Lethal Weapon. You got the Italian is totally Joe Pesci, and then you've got Riggs and Murtaugh as the brothers.
You know what? That's actually a really good description.
but I don't think.
That's a good analogy for
But
it.
that's totally fair. I totally get. I just don't think that there's a whole lot of strategic mental thought behind their success. I think there's a lot of luck and a lot of perseverance
And a lot of movies got a movie.
Yeah,
Well, very
yeah.
much so, because this scene by itself, like they're there for the Porn King,
Yeah, we're talking about
And-
the scene at the strip club right now.
right? But they're there for the Porn King, and the only reason that they're so happy and kill the other two is because hey, they're street thugs that just
Well,
walked in off the
Rocco killed the street thugs, right?
only because he begged them to let him do it.
Yeah. Okay, look at the professionalism of Rocco, and look at the professionalism
What
of the two brothers.
professionalism?
Right? That's what they look very professional compared to Rocco.
They basically teed up these guys for him, essentially.
Like,
Yeah,
they,
really.
They killed the guys that Rocco was going to kill, the 9 people, and he had a six pistol gun or a six
shooter.
Yeah. Thank you.
A 6 pistol?
What the fuck are we going to do with 6?
I want to know how he had a
357?
6 pistol gun. But
I found it interesting, too. Why is he hung up on the 2 bullets being different? And how do they know that at this point? Like, ballistics, did they do that in 5 minutes?
Oh, they're really quick.
It's William Dafoe. He just knows these things.
It's like he took the back computer, or these are different bullets or whatever.
You guys realize throughout this whole podcast, you're going to hear Corey Willem.
Did I not say Willem?
You sure did not.
I'm going to continue not saying Willem.
That's all right. I'm literally not even close to judging you. I'm just having fun with it at this point. So,
does anybody call Willem Bill?
Billum?
See, I got a buddy, my buddy from Rocky. We call him Bill, and he's a William, and I always call him Billiam. But it's just like, how do you get Bill out of Will?
See, and I can
2 L's, but
I can honestly say because my nephew's
How do you get Peggy out of Margaret?
Right.
Dick out of Richard.
Yeah.
Benny out of Elizabeth.
You don't want to know how you got Dick out of Richard.
See, right.
Dick and Richard. Yeah.
See, but I can honestly say, my nephew, he's never going to listen to this, which is great. His name is William Robert. Now, Mark used to walk around right when he came home and Billy Bob.
I was going to say, that's the perfect opportunity for that.
Right?
Oh my God! He crossed his hands. What an epiphany!
Right?
We solved the world's problems.
My son James, he hates getting called Jim, and he's named after Jim. Like his grandfather's has always been Jim Barker, right?
Yeah.
And you call James Jim, he's so fucking
Jimothy.
Well, yeah, I love calling him Jimothy.
Well,
he hates it.
It's like Alan. You are the only one who can get away with calling Alan Al.
I love calling him Al.
But you're the only one he doesn't get pissed off.
Does Betty call him Al?
Who?
You can call me Betty. Betty, when you call me Al. Oh my God! I come up with a music and nobody gets it.
I knew you were talking about Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel. I was going to say, talking about the gym and all that.
I just think of The Office with the Jimothy thing. So.
Oh, is that where that's from?
Yeah. Where
I honestly
Jim
did not
came
know
to work in that tux there for whatever reason. I can't remember what it was. And then Mike was talking. It's like, Jim, can I call you Jim? Jimothy?
I don't know. Get Jeff with Mark. It's, yeah. They have interesting ones for each other.
Mark loves calling me Jeff Papa.
Yeah, and you call him Marky Mark from the Funky Bunch.
I only call you Jeffrey when I have like something funny to say.
See,
Otherwise, you'll always be Jeff.
I only call him Jeffrey when he's not listening to me, and then you get Jeffrey.
You call me Jeffrey more than my own mother does.
I think the guy at work that calls me Michael, and it's just like, if he talks to somebody else about me, he says Mike. But he always comes up, and he's a newbie. He's a great guy. I call him Pikachu. He's like 6'2", 6'3", big man, and his last name is Pico, and he has it tattooed on his arm. So he calls me Michael, I call him Pikachu.
I always call all my ladies at work, like the housekeepers there. I'll be like,
your ladies,
my ladies,
Oh, your
my,
ladies.
my harem. Please don't listen to this,
Wow.
girls. Anyways, I just got fired. So I always say it's like, hey, Miss whoever, or whatever. Like I always do that with all my things. So.
I was going to ask, since I'm with smart people, James T. Kirk. We all know his middle name is
Tiberius.
I did not
Do you
know
know
that.
of which Tiberius he's named after?
His dad.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I just found out the other
His
day.
dad's name was Tiberius.
Well, yeah. No,
His
it's not
dad name?
George.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that is his
Or-
dad's name was George Kirk.
Oh, well, there was a Tiberius. I'm trying to remember. Oh God.
Maybe that's a different continuity.
I was just curious because I found out the other day listening to Our Fake History, fantastic podcast, and Tiberius is a Caesar that was right after or right before Caligula. And it was and he was not a nice person, according to.
There we go. So forgiving my ineptitude at the beginning, this is Billy Connolly. They just showed him. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
They just showed him.
Again.
God damn it!
We were going to learn something about history.
Is this the 6 men with a gun or the 1 man with 6 guns?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyways, history. Tiberius.
Where the dumb cops finally get something right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But still gets shit on by Willem.
Look, he said it right.
He never
I
said
never
it
said
wrong.
it wrong.
Yeah, so
I think it's you and me that have been saying
But-
William wrong.
The minute somebody was corrected, I now very focused on saying
But
Willem
see,
or Will I am.
because of Corey, I am going to purposely point out when everybody says his name right.
I don't
Says
think
it
you,
right?
I don't think you could call him Will I Am
I said
because there's
right.
no I.
Oh, I know. Willem.
Will I Am.
See right
Billy
there.
Connolly.
Yeah, see?
Behind the guard. Yeah. He's
Man,
the Hannibal Lecter
They
looking
put him
one.
in a bird cage just before they parole him.
How? Yeah. Why would you go through all this trouble if you're just going to parole him?
Because they're afraid
See-
that they're going to kill him. Like,
See, I thought, now it's a little bit of a preemptive thing. I thought at the point, oh, Dad. I totally expected like some sort of as if they were brothers and this was like a dad or an uncle or something. Because he was hired to kill these two, right?
yes.
Totally called it.
But, so, spoiler alert. So,
We're at the
with
end of
it-
the movie. Come
right?
If anybody's
So,
watching this
we're not quite at
chronologically
that.
with us,
No.
Not quite at
But-
the end.
But the point with this whole thing too, like because they state, he's huge mass murderer, like he never misses. When they're doing that shootout, he's purposely missing them. Because
He doesn't know it's his boys yet.
I think
He catches on to it really fast because he
No,
shoots
it's,
one.
it's the second fight where he figures it out. When they're saying the
Where-
prayer.
No,
That's when he figures it out.
when they're outside the house.
Nope, he figures it out at the
I'm going to say I missed the evidence to support that, but I always thought that when they were giving the prayer, that's when he recognized. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what movie are we watching? And I've been zoned out. What? So,
It's Lethal Weapon. You've
All
got
right.
the Italian
all right.
and the two.
Yeah, the 2000 version.
There's Danny DeVito and Mel Gibson and the cleaner. Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
right.
have the cleaner.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that Sam Jack movie?
Yeah.
That was actually a really
It
good
was.
movie.
Yeah, I did like
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Man, I totally understand now why he goes by Samuel Jackson instead of Sam.
Sam Jack.
Yeah, Sam
Yeah.
Jack. That's a terrible name.
With
It's
Sam
I
Jackson.
like it as a nickname, but I would never call it to him when I'm like referring. Well, ish. Like,
Well,
It's-
if you referred to him as Sam Jack in real life, he'd probably bitch slap you. He
Probably.
looks like the kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's 70. He's pretty frantic. Did you know when he was cast, he was asked to cast. I can't remember what movie. It might have been. Avengers. When he got first cast as
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, he said, "I've got one issue. You cannot make me run. Otherwise, I won't do it." So the shithead, what's his name? Joss Whedon. Signed, okay, fine. And the very first scene he's on there, he says, "Okay, now you run across here and you shoot." And he says, "Don't worry, it's gonna be the last time I'll make you. I promise." And Samuel Jackson, "You fucker," and he ran and whatever. But he doesn't even like to run because he's got bad knees and he's old. I thought that was he told that story in a thing. I thought that was hilarious.
And yet you've got Clint Eastwood. When he did the mule, they were actually telling him to slow down.
Clint
Well,
Eastwood
yeah,
is.
just he's
I mean,
fucking
Clint Eastwood now
Eastwood.
is 91, so I don't think he's doing it anymore. So
Well, the mule's not that old.
No?
It's less
Yeah,
than 5 years old.
Yeah, the
he was
mule's not-
85
yeah.
when
Oh.
he did that.
And yeah,
He was
because he's always on the go and he's always doing things. They were actually telling him like, slow down. You're supposed to be an old man.
Yeah, I am an old man.
Right?
I'm of the frame of mind that they really need to, if they're going to redo a Clint Eastwood movie, they need to get Scott to do it.
So
I like him, and I just wish he could get a little more love somewhere to help him develop.
right. So the thing on that one, to have Scott Eastwood go and do a Clint Eastwood movie, will never happen because Clint himself has said, "I will never help you. You want to break into this, you have to do it on your own."
That doesn't mean that him doing Clint Eastwood movie wouldn't happen, like a remake
Yeah,
of a
Clint
Clint
doesn't own the movies. He just
Yeah.
So the
And
people
His
and
last
he-
name kind of helping him a bit.
Yes, but Scott Eastwood would probably not touch him until his dad dies.
Well, that's probably like. Let's be realistic. It's probably not that far away. He is 91. Like,
I still think you could pull off. You wouldn't have much room for sequels, but I think you could pull off a Batman Beyond with Clint still.
You think?
ooh.
I mean, I'd rather have done it 10 years ago or 15 years ago, but I still think
as much
the
as I can
last
see
story could be.
the face, I could see it. He
Yeah.
does remind me, but I still want to see the Michael Keaton version.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
the
know.
Michael
Nah.
Keaton one would be better.
My Batman Beyond is from the cartoon, and Keaton doesn't feel that for me. Keaton is my '89 Batman. Cartoon Batman is something different.
Well, spoiler alert, he got older. So-
But he's too active. He looks too good.
Yeah, he does.
That's my problem.
I didn't watch a lot of the C-Dub shows. Did you?
Like the Arrowverse stuff.
Yeah.
I watched the first 3 seasons of The Flash, and that was it. I didn't
The
watch
first
any
3
Arrow. I didn't
seasons
watch
of
anything.
everything was good, and then they all shit the bed.
Did you guys watch? The only thing I ever watched them was really the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh yeah.
Did you see?
His Conroy's? Conroy's.
Yeah.
I understand why Conroy did it, but it was just kind of a shitty. I didn't like it. It was a bad Batman.
It
And he
was a
said it
bad
himself,
Batman.
yeah.
I feel bad. Like, I love that he got to play an old Batman, but I felt bad. Like, Conroy could have played an amazing Batman Beyond Batman. After seeing that,
He's still so small though.
He's pretty small. That's what I was
but
going to say.
that's kind of the thing, though. Like, you know, he's
you
old
don't
and
shrink that
frail.
much as you get older.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you lose 3 or 4 inches from your peak or whatever.
Conroy was a voice. He was the voice of a generation. He was the voice of a character. He is still, in my opinion, the voice of the character.
When you read a Batman story, you hear his voice.
Yeah.
So can we say, like, at this point, the brothers are kind of the peak of their ability right now? Like, this is probably the most planned out they've been this whole thing. And it didn't go exactly as planned.
But they sure as hell improvised.
And Rocco is still like the fucking loose cannon.
And he's
Like,
still getting his ass kicked every
But
chance he can.
And they do tell him at this point, like, this is where it's time for you to earn your stripes, and they weren't allowed to help him. Like,
Oh, this is where Willem was at his craziest.
See, this is the art part.
So I think William Dafoe's still doing his earbud thing kind of sort of. Look at his way he's doing it here.
I know.
You hear the music in the background?
But this is where you find out, too, that Willem is completely not really working for the FBI, but more for them.
Not quite yet.
Oh, no, you find out that one because he grabs
He's
the
trying
ringer.
to tell the wrong story here, and and this is where the whole thing where the other guy gets it right.
Yeah,
okay. So this is the scene you're suggesting. He knows who these two are.
Yep.
So let's.
I do really love this. There was a firefight. Like, just all this music going on. And, like, the music is actually kind of terrible in this show. But
It's
sometimes
very
it gets it
choral.
right. Sometimes it doesn't match the tone.
I never found anything to draw me out of it.
Like, with this scene here,
There's a few scenes. But you have to, upon rewatching, you notice it.
like, and especially, like, this scene here, I know what you mean. Like, the music is completely wrong for this scene.
It kind
So you know for a fact
I
he's missing.
like
You
it
know
for
he's
this scene
missing.
Yes.
On purpose.
Because you
On
can
purpose.
see it when Rocco ducks down, his hands move, and he's all of a sudden missing them on purpose. Now, he does shoot the one in the leg.
I do kind of hate how the brothers are just standing there getting shot at.
Right?
Like, that's kind of stupid.
That is totally movies got a movie shit.
Yeah.
Right?
That is the lame that's bad.
But yeah,
movies got a
And,
movie.
and their dad's just got the fucking cigar, just
This is
standing around.
TV shit or whatever.
It
that
is.
Yeah, this is bad television.
So at this point, like, he shoots someone in the leg, but then all of a sudden it just stops. Like, he could have walked up and shot them.
Can you guys imagine the paperwork William Dafoe would have to do for
Well,
that gunshot? Willem Dafoe would have to do for that gunshot.
Yeah.
I'm not even doing it on purpose, I
See?
swear.
See, right there. He yelled. His dad ran away.
Well, it's because he's gonna get shot because he's standing out he's unguarded.
No, it's because he knows.
I don't know.
I fully think it's because he knows it's them.
This is really smart with the ammonia.
That is the most suggestive thing that says that they have intelligence. That's about it. Little spray bottles with ammonia. Or whatever. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's.
What if it was
it's
just
pretty
one guy
much
with 6
shooting by the
guns?
hip.
Right?
Like, they've moved past throwing toilets on people's heads.
Right? But yeah, so like here, like he's asking what's going on with the blood samples. Oh, we can't get a solid one because of the ammonia, and then he finds the finger and he pockets it.
We got a CSI person in a lab coat in the field.
And he just sniffs it and he knows what it is. So
Well,
Well, 'cause
you tend to
ammonia's got
smell
a-
ammonia.
granted, but it's funny. Frick, like this is Willem Dafoe at his best.
Right?
Like I've never seen him chew up scenery so much before in
Oh,
any movie he's done, except for this scene right here.
He's relatively young and energetic.
Yeah.
And, I really want to see The Lighthouse. I haven't seen it yet, but it is.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard it was good,
Robert Pattinson.
but I don't want to watch
Oh,
it.
really
It
want to see that.
was
His finger.
right, and he pockets it. Like
These
Would
two
you
laugh.
trust this fucking CSI team either? Like, oh, I can't get a
No,
good sample. I can't
because-
smell the fucking ammonia.
right, but
Like-
it's because he's hiding the evidence. Like they've
Because
got
he
a
brought out Connolly, so
right, yeah, because they've got
But
viable
he
evidence.
didn't bring out Connolly. The mobsters did, and it was a mistake.
But Connolly was because they explain that is one thing they do explain better in the second movie. Is Connolly was getting all his information on his boys from the FBI agents.
I'm like, that might have been a retcon in the second one, but I'm very confident the way this one's shot, he's not supposed to know it's his boys in this first one.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to regret saying, I'm sure of it.
Are you?
I'm with Jeff on this one.
stop it! Who the hell do you think you are?
Just right.
What the actual fuck?
I don't
Like,
know.
Laura thought you two were
I know
friends.
you and I.
Right? I am hurt.
This is annoying. I found this a little bit annoying.
Yeah, because this would never actually work.
Apparently, the cord for the iron doesn't plug in.
It's right.
Yeah.
Well, they did.
It's
And
Bluetooth.
I'm curious.
No, they put it against the
It's a
stove.
joke.
Maybe,
Bluetooth.
maybe somebody could Google this, or maybe if we had a medical professional. I don't know if that type of cauterizing is the right thing
No,
to do.
it's not.
I'm not sure.
I dare you guys go knock on my bedroom door and get the medical professional to
Gibbs
come
I'll
out here.
text her.
I'll do it.
I'll text her.
Apparently, she already didn't like me because you're showing texts and shit. So.
Oh, I don't think that's the reason she doesn't like you.
Oh, because you argue with me at the door every day. You've already confirmed that she recognizes
I assume you
you're
didn't show her
an
my text.
antagonizer. Medical professional, we need help.
Jeff's gonna need help.
Jeff said to get your.
Well, I gotta go.
There also is my daughter sleeping in the next room over. So
That's Saturday.
We'll see you in about 3 months, there, Jeff.
Once the bruises heal.
no, she's smart enough to conceal the bruises. Okay.
She knows that if he uses a phone book,
He's just gonna shoot air between his fingers with a needle. So
That just makes me think about what you were saying with the phone book earlier.
My new phone book's here. My new phone book's here. That's your wife? The new phone book's here, Jeff. Jeff, the new phone book's here.
yeah, Jeff's like going to PTSD.
How did he miss the Italian till now? Like, I don't
well,
understand.
see, that's how he got
that's
the
'cause
finger.
They don't. He doesn't jive with them. Like it's almost two separate MOs.
Well,
So
it's true. Yeah. And I don't understand his motivation to get this piss ass drunk here.
Because
Movie's got a movie?
movie's got a movie, yes.
Wow.
But, partially at this point is because they've screwed up his way of thinking, basically. I mean, he's supposed to be the smartest person,
yeah, he thought he had it all figured out, and then all of a sudden this finger.
right? They screwed up. They left a finger behind.
Well, I mean, there's no such thing as a truly perfect movie. I mean, we're not going to banish the movie because it has a minor flaw in it, right?
Like,
Well,
I have a lot of flawed movies in my top list. So
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, okay, maybe it was unnecessary. I feel like the director of this just kind of said, Willem, do what you want to do. We'll make it work. And he
I would really like a scene where I slap a gay guy, even though I'm gay, and it's
Call him a
Like,
drunk.
what a thing! Like,
This episode is rated E for explicit.
see,
like Rocco followed him to the church. I do not like Rocco this whole movie.
see, at this point, like Corian stated, like you love the characters because they're very religious. They're fanatically
medical
religious,
for you, Jeff.
right? But like the brothers are fanatically religious, and you see it at this point because Rocco's going to kill this guy in a church, and the brothers freak out on him.
So the non-religious atheist FBI staggered into a confessional booth to pass out, and something along that lines.
Well, he needs a good day's
What
sleep.
was the reason to go to the church to pass out?
Well, that way he's not picking up anybody, and he has a quiet place to sleep.
Okay.
This was back at a time where like the Catholic Church symbolism was popular in movies, and like it was like a beacon of truth and good and everything like that at that time.
Yes, this is prior to Da Vinci's Code when they,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and the whole no, that never actually happened.
Cough, dogma.
Right?
Well, like Dogma was in this period of
It
time,
was.
right?
Within a couple of years, yeah.
Speaking of, oh, sorry.
I like to. I like to talk about like video store hits. This is like one of those video store hits.
It is
Like they only became popular because of video stores.
Yeah,
I believe.
It's a cult classic. It's not.
very much so.
It's not a
It's a-
blockbuster movie. It's a cult classic.
Yeah,
movie.
it's a video store classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Matt Damon made a comment about modern movies, how they don't have what they used to have. Back when the video stores were killing it, I mean, they knew they didn't have to do well in the box office because they knew that they were going to kill it in the video stores.
Yep.
And you don't even have that anymore because streaming services killed that.
right. And
Well, you
So-
got something like Rocky Horror that sucked in the theater,
Yeah.
did well on video, and all of a sudden people are like, "Wait a second, this is cool. This needs to be seen in the theater." Well, you missed the boat. Well, guess what? We're bringing it back to the theater,
Right.
and now it'll pack a theater every single time.
Yeah.
every Halloween, and everybody dresses in drag. And
Yeah.
There's been some really ugly.
And they are trying to do that with other movies. They're bringing back James Cameron brought back Avatar for a second.
Well, Titanic was in theaters for 11 months.
Yeah, I know. And now they're
So-
bringing other movies back just to, okay,
Well-
we can get a little more edging. This money number is annoying.
James Cameron is the wealthiest, most successful director in Hollywood history.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
See, and even then, like Mike, you and I had talked about it last week before the podcast started. The advantage for like Corey and I working in a video store is you get to know people. You can gauge people.
Yeah.
So where a lot of the movies became cult classics is quite honestly because of people like us.
Mm-hmm.
Like
The video store type thing. Yeah.
We're just about close to where we have to take a break again. Right before our break, I've got a trivia question for you guys. Okay, what actor?
Matt Damon. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
What actor has collectively made the most money out of all his movies he's ever been in? It's an actor, not an actress. Okay, that's
Will
the only
Smith.
hint. No, after the break, you can tell me. Okay, and we're going to the break.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, guys, we're back. Did you guys think about your answers? Now, not the actor who's made the most money, who's collectively been in the most movies that have made the most money.
I stick with mine. Will Smith.
Will Smith is your answer.
Will Smith is my answer.
Laura, the answer is going to surprise you all.
Brad Pitt. I don't know.
Okay, so we've got Will Smith, Brad Pitt, and Mike. Drink off the board.
off
He
the
doesn't
board?
have to be the leading actor, by the way.
I think I'm wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. Eric Roberts.
Okay,
Because he's been in 455 movies.
so here's the top four. Okay, number 4, John Ratzenberger,
Nice.
because of all the Pixar.
Pixar. He's been
Yeah,
in every
yeah.
Pixar movie up until... whatever.
Number 3, who I thought I read someplace was number 1, Frank Welker.
Who's he?
voice of
Megatron.
Megatron, and
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually thought he was number one.
also the voice of Scooby Doo and Fred.
Yeah.
Didn't he die?
Yeah,
No,
no,
I think
he's still
so.
around.
He retired. I think he's officially retired from voice acting.
I think you're thinking of Casey Kasem.
He retired. Yeah,
yes.
Shaggy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Number 2 is Samuel L. Jackson,
cool.
and number 1 is not anybody you guys have.
I still
Well,
think
who
I might.
is he?
You guys want one more guess?
Give us a clue.
Give
Cameos.
Give us one.
Stan Lee?
Stan Lee.
That is such a loaded pile of garbage.
No, I thought Frank Welker was number 1 when
Yeah.
I asked that question. So
No, what's funny on that one is both you and I, Corey, went with Stan Lee when it could have either been Stan Lee or Stephen King.
well, this is true.
Yeah, but Stephen King's movies never made any money.
I think we can argue that too. I remember bringing this up in a previous podcast that you can't just count for inflation.
Well, fair enough.
No, you have to say, like we talked about before. To see Star Wars, you had to go down to the theater and see it 112 times in a year. And now we're living with 7 billion people on the planet. You can do that once. So
Has any movie, when you think about it, made more money than Star Wars? Like when you think of all the action figures?
Are you talking about like Star Wars as a whole?
Well, the movie itself has made all this money from the action figures and everything like that, right? Like,
But you're talking about the franchise.
well, I guess. But like that all spawned from one movie, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's intangible, the money that Star Wars has made.
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah.
So Rocco finally gets his comeuppance. Thank God.
And finally, Willem Dafoe gets to really let loose.
Man, like, why is this guy smitten by
And
her?
why
Like,
does he seem like he knows her?
that
And
is
it's like, hey, it's
Well,
like-
because a hooker shows up at your door and, you're going to talk nice to it because you're horny, but at the same point, you're not supposed to be working.
and how
he's
It's a
always
movie.
sending us over Primo box. Like,
It's a movie within a movie within a movie.
and
I don't think Willem Dafoe's not a good-looking woman.
I was just gonna go there.
Oh.
It's just like, I mean, how desperate is this guy?
Okay, but there's
Yeah,
and look at you can see the tongue
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that kiss.
Yeah.
Willem
Yeah.
Dafoe was total 100% method there.
Yeah.
Totally comfortable with his sexuality. Good for
Yeah.
you, Willem.
and it wasn't long after this that he actually came out.
What, Willem?
Yeah.
Is he actually gay?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Actually, I don't
Did
think
not
I
know.
knew that.
No, or sorry, he's not gay. He's bi.
That makes sense. I mean, it's.
the
But I
three
mean,
quarters of Hollywood is. Like,
I didn't realize, and I might have missed that boat, but the lead singer from Judas Priest came out.
What?
The lead singer from Judas Priest came out.
Really? That is not something I would have expected. Not.
Which is alright, because they're still awesome, so.
This is.
He goes way too far in this scene, though.
He's a little.
and it's
Yeah.
the wig that gives it away? The wig? That's what gives it away?
You could tell this FBI agent has this
Fetish?
this costume already. Clearly,
Oh, yeah.
I do appreciate the little lip tremble as he kills it. I don't know if you guys caught that or
Yeah,
not, but it was
yeah,
just like
yeah.
you could tell that he's vibrating from killing this person, even though he's an FBI agent.
I thought he was mad that the person wasn't attracted to them anymore. He actually took that personally.
He softly whispers to himself too much.
Too far.
Too far. Yeah. And you can tell he's not comfortable with himself. And it's not played off huge, but there's a subtleism.
Yeah.
And now he's like, okay, I'm in it, it's too much, but I'm in it now, right?
Yeah, committed.
See, and that's kind of where I was at with this character. You could have made an entire movie based off of this FBI agent that was not comfortable with who he was, and he forced this, whatever, and make it a profound, long movie. But I feel like we weren't given enough time for this level of who he was, and then it becomes, I don't know, it's not necessary because what impact does it have? I wanted more to understand.
Well,
that
and the worst
character.
part is they made a sequel, and he was in it, But
not
they
to the
didn't,
very
and they
end.
didn't
I
expand
was gonna
on that?
say
Oh, okay.
no. He was in the last scene because they're like, "Oh, he's not around," and then like at the end, he's in Mexico or something like that.
Laura, look at this scene clearly. He's about to kill them, and they're saying the prayer, and he puts his guns away.
I still think it was at the house.
Yeah, it's.
Well, and I think this is
But
one
at
of
this point, like, the boys don't recognize him until he starts saying that.
the. See, I totally expected them to look back and go, Dad? This is the scene.
But-
And it's like, that would have.
They haven't seen him. Now, Jeff. God, this is like a stabbing pain having to say this. You could be right.
Oh,
Like,
Wait!
Poor
I-
Jeff.
I
Fuck.
Laura and Mike both admitted I was right on
no.
the podcast.
I said
Recorded.
you could.
Recorded.
Could. I never
she
said.
hasn't totally committed.
So we're at the final scene here. You know, pretty good way to end it up, I think. Right? Like, they're now the FBI's secret weapons.
And the whole, Boston police force.
Yeah.
Like,
I do love how they get around the metal detector.
which is why,
I love their
if you've ever paid attention to courthouses now, maybe not so much in Canada, but in the States, they don't have the little metal detectors like that anymore. They're like wall to wall.
Oh,
yeah. This one kind of pushed me a
And they
little
don't-
bit. Okay, yeah.
And they don't have
But
the roof on top.
This
either.
was pre 9/11, remember?
No, I thought that. I still think it's a little bit too much. But you know what? Okay, movie's got a fucking movie. Whatever, you know.
And I love the fact here too, like they're doing the court scene. He's the next John Gotti,
Well, it's very reminiscent, right?
right?
Oh.
He doesn't look at all like John Travolta. What are you talking about?
A little bit. The hairline.
Oh, maybe.
And then
That guy up there looks like the guy who voices the snowman in Frozen.
Josh Gad.
He was up on the balcony
I was gonna say
when he was younger and thinner.
I was gonna say who, the Elvis person?
Yeah.
No, that was Ron Jeremy.
Yeah. I think they'll show him again. I mean,
I feel like it was unnecessary for them to reveal themselves in the world. This is a badass scene, though.
Well,
Yeah.
it is.
Still not as good as that one scene that I like, but still a good scene.
The one with all the coins.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
scene of it actually happening, not the aftermath.
This is the recording we have at the top of the show
yes.
for the family prayer or whatever it's called.
So, guys, the final scene of the movie, we're going to get to our final thoughts, okay?
What a
Laura?
segue.
That's so
Laura,
much to
I'd
say.
I would like to start with you on final thoughts. Or, I guess we got to go, where does it belong in the video store?
You know, that's actually a good one for this.
Is it a comedy?
I don't know. It's pretty horrific.
It's not a comedy.
The
There
only
is some
thing comedic is the poor freaking that
that pissed me off. It's a comedy by Register on Amazon.
I know.
Really?
Yeah, it's an action comedy. It's
See, and
There is some
some-
comedic things in it.
there is.
Yeah, except the Tourette's bartender. He's
Yeah.
pretty hilarious.
Fuck yes!
What about the cross-dresser? That's...
that
That's
was
like-
not put off as comedic in my mind.
If this movie was made 10 years prior, it would have been.
By Mel Brooks. I can see
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so what's the answer?
We're looking at Laura for this, eh?
Yeah.
This one, see, they never agree with mine because I would totally put it in staff picks, but that's not a section.
Nope.
So,
Well,
That's a
That
cop
doesn't
out is
count.
what that is.
Yeah.
I agree with
but
that.
we
I
had
agree with Corey.
Yeah.
We had that section. Like, that's the thing.
Okay, let's
Um,
Let's just skip over Laura.
it
She can
was-
make up her mind.
It's an action.
It's an action.
Yeah,
It's an action.
it legitimately, it's got to go in action or biblical.
Biblical's not a section.
This
Oh,
is
it would be in my store.
It is a Christian
No, it's
movie
action.
of a sort.
It's action. It's action.
It's a Catholic movie. It's not a Christian movie.
But
Catholic
Anyway.
and Christian are different, dude. By
There's-
a little bit.
That margin.
no, a Catholic is Christian, but Christian's not Catholic.
No, Christian
Oh
is
my
a
god.
derivative
What
of
did I
Catholic.
start?
It's named after.
Jeff,
You can be
Yeah,
Catholic.
that's what I'm saying. That's
Jeff.
exactly what I'm saying.
Jeff, where does it belong in the video store?
It's an action. Clearly, like it's not dramatic enough to be a drama.
Not
Right.
comedy enough to be a comedy.
Yeah.
I say drama.
Okay.
And I would accept that.
I'm not even like cracking a smile. I'm dead serious.
I think you're right, actually. Tell you the
So-
truth, I'm going to change mine to drama too. Because it wasn't super packed with action. It was nice.
It was emotionally. The movie was an emotional punch. Whether it be like just because you're not crying doesn't mean you're not instigated feeling
more
of
than one
emotion.
emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I'll
a
change
drama.
mine to Corey, so we'll put it in drama.
Yeah, I still think it's got
Reluctant.
It's got.
I can appreciate drama. Like it's.
I just want to support
It can
Corey,
go, it
my
can go
friend.
either way.
You know, and I want to, I'll support him. I don't want to be alone. So.
I
You
feel
don't
like
want him to be alone.
I love this after fact stuff.
where
Where
they're
they're
asking.
doing it in
Oh
interviews.
yeah, this split division, and we talked about
Every
Could this really
vigilante
happen?
movie has the reactionary. Even
Yeah.
Spider-Man had the reactionary things because it's a vigilante essentially. So
but this is like more visceral, more
This
real.
Yeah.
you know,
is very real life-ish. Like it does feel like they actually ask people on the streets.
yeah. This is you.
actually,
this
Mike,
time
this was
here-
before your time. We talked about it when we were. I think when we were doing Guardians. I can't remember. But have you seen the movie Defendor with Woody Harrelson?
No, but I've
Watch
heard
the
of it.
movie
Yeah.
Defender with Woody Harrelson.
Okay,
Sorry.
I've seen a documentary that had that
It's
in it.
it's a very emotional movie that's under the guise of a superhero movie, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
So-
not. I wouldn't call it a superhero movie at all.
Well, that's why I said under the guise of, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It was like because
It's a
I was
drama.
working at Blockbuster when it came out, and they marketed it on the trailer reel as a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And you watch that movie, I cried at the end.
Yeah.
Like it was incredibly emotional. So
Woody Harrelson's a bit underrated, I think.
Oh, he's so
a
good.
talented man.
that's why I was so excited for his take on Cletus Cassidy as Carnage there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it just
Missed the
Oh.
mark a bit. Yeah,
I guess
a bit.
I'm being nice.
I don't know how you thought they would get a good performance out of him in a Venom movie.
Well, especially in a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Because Cletus
still-
Cassidy is a hard R villain.
They just weren't getting that out of those movies.
Well,
No.
yeah, I mean,
It's not
like,
the direction, yeah.
It's like who thought you could get that out of Christian Bale in a fucking Thor movie?
Yeah.
Sometimes that actor's just going to show up, and he didn't invent.
Yeah, they actually
you know
had
what
an
I mean?
actor in a Thor movie.
Yeah, you know, and it's that sort of thing, right? You get some of these brilliant performers that I'm going to show up regardless. I
That's
don't
why
care
when
if it's-
Christian, like, again, I'm a huge Christian Bale fan. He's done some things I don't like, but I'm a huge Christian Bale fan. And when he finally won the Oscar for The Fighter in 2010,
Yeah.
I was so happy
Sorry,
because he
I
was
zoned
incredible in
out.
that movie
What are we
too.
talking about now?
Now we're talking about Christian Bale and how great he is.
But we're gonna get the
Okay.
final thoughts here, guys. Laura, we can start with you and your final thoughts.
Oh, you mean I actually have to come back into the conversation?
Yes,
now?
you do. This was the
Okay,
movie you picked.
I
You get to do
know.
final thoughts.
So, like I said earlier, this is one I watch every year. It's not because
Well-
it's great. It's filming by far is not the
No.
greatest I've ever seen. It's definitely a low budget movie, but it's fun. I
Uh,
always thought it was fun.
I was going to argue with you about it being a St. Patrick's Day movie, then I realized the very first scene
It's
is on St. Patrick's Day.
Boston, St. Patrick's Day or something like
Yeah,
that.
at the bar.
Yeah.
The rest of it's not at Patrick's Day.
The rest of it is no, but it starts on St.
Just
Patrick's
because
Day.
they're Irish.
That's racist. Anyway,
Right? I'm offended.
So, what's your rating for it?
I mean,
Laura?
that, Irish exist outside of St. Patty's Day is my point.
no, they
I
don't.
know, but if you
No, they
no,
don't.
they don't. We only exist one
No.
day a year,
Sorry, they
Right.
switched to English language rather than
right? Rather
one
than
day.
all-
Let's go drinking now. Eh?
And okay, no, no.
That sounded Irish.
That's what I was trying for.
Oh, okay.
He was totally going for Irish.
Okay, I thought you were. Oh,
It
not
is-
Irish. I meant Scottish. Is what I meant to say. Sorry.
Right.
Oh.
It is not about the drinking, and it's,
It's
not
not
about
the
Yes,
fighting.
it is.
And it's
No,
not
it-
about the red hair. And it's not.
It's not about the red hair. It's not about the little leprechauns that go around with their little pots of
Hi,
fucking
diddly
gold.
dee.
Shut up. It is, and it's not about the whole.
Are you going to get to your point?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say to you.
It's not about the pinching or the kiss me, I'm Irish.
Guitars.
The magically delicious.
Yeah, that's
So,
it.
so guys, we got to cut through this. What is St. Patrick's Day about?
Yes.
It's actually about the changing of the seasons.
Really?
Yeah, and celebrating a fictional guy. He wasn't fictional, but a guy getting rid of rats on an island that didn't have rats.
So he did his job.
Oh, I actually heard that. There's that same podcast.
He was a fictional,
He was-
non-fictional
Yeah.
character.
Like,
Maybe let's not let
It's-
Laura describe things
He was
anymore.
a shyster.
He was yes.
He scammed the city.
He scammed a whole island.
Yeah.
So what he did was fictional, but
Yeah.
he's celebrated for that.
Well, I really hope we're not on any sort of time frame or anything like that.
No, not at
fuck
all.
Time frames.
Especially considering Laura can't describe things to save her life. Freaking long-winded isn't used enough these days.
Really, you want to go on about Christian Bale some more?
Yes. He's Welsh. It's close.
Mike?
Uh,
I was going to get Laura's rating of this movie, but no, I'm moving on to Mike. Final
rating.
thoughts?
You know what? I'd heard about it for years, and then I heard a couple friends of mine were saying, "Oh, you couldn't put this movie needs to go away because of its old take, and it's offensive and blah blah blah."
Yeah, it is.
It's very offensive.
and I mean, I can argue that with anybody, saying if you're watching a 20-year-old movie with today's standards, you're not doing it right. Okay, but I watched it and I enjoyed it, and I wished I was more paying attention
helps.
because there's more into it this time. I also wish I watched it 15, 20 years ago when I was younger. It would have meant so much more to me, but it was a fun, interesting movie with really interesting characters, and I enjoyed it.
I think it's about 15 years ago I first watched this. So
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, I didn't watch it right away.
I'm like ashamed.
Well, it's a video store hit, right? Like it was a
It
slow
is.
burn to get. What would be your rating, Mike? For personal and quality.
Personal, I give it, because I didn't give it the attention it deserved. I'll give it a clear 6.5. But if I focused more, I might have given it more. Might have knocked off one too. As far as being well done, I think it pretty much matches up. I think there was some weird cuts and edits. It wasn't terrible by no means, but I give it a 6.5 as well. It was a fun, enjoyable movie, especially if I look at it through the eyes of when I was 25.
Corey, final thoughts?
As everyone stares at me. Not that everyone could see it, but I felt those eyes. So, yeah, like I said, I didn't watch it right away, but when I watched it, I fell in love with it. Willem Dafoe, like I said, chews up the scenery in this movie in a good way. The boys are amazing. I've never been a big Irish British type movie person. Like I actually don't like Guy Ritchie. So
Does he do this?
no, but
Oh.
it's his style of movie.
I give another half a point if he had.
Yeah, but that said, I still really enjoyed it. I love a good vigilante movie. That said, again, it's not the greatest movie in the world. So I would say 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5? Laura, did you actually want to give it a rating?
Are you guys going to get me going about Irish again?
Are you gonna actually just stop talking and give us a rating?
No.
A lucky 7.
Okay, Jeff, final thoughts. Well, so glad you guys would ask.
Well, I wasn't sure she was done.
I will give you a second to give you a rating if you
I'm
want
going to
it.
smack these two.
10 more seconds.
9.
Those are new.
Who's got the Oscar theme? The play-out theme.
So, I do agree with Corey. It's like, it didn't age well. Some of the cuts are bad. So it's a 3 out of 5 for me.
A 3 out of 5?
Mhm.
Man, am I just too generous on my rankings of stuff sometimes, I think?
Well, considering nobody can figure out your ratings, I mean, you can
like,
be as generous as you want and nobody will still get it.
like, I'm going to give this movie a Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Really?
It's a fun yet somewhat flawed movie.
That's a
Three-
solid 75. So
That's a 3 out of 4
Yeah.
Indiana Jones for me.
Corey, I'm pretty sure you figured out his ratings. You're
I
going
have.
to have to explain this.
No.
Because I still haven't.
Yeah, I think it's a solid Raiders of the Lost Ark. To be honest, it's you know what, the flaws are glaring and in there, but it's just so enjoyable, and it's got a lot of heart behind it. The relationships I really, really enjoy in this movie. It feels a lot more organic than a movie like this has any business being. Like, even the over-the-top FBI agent, the way he's busting the balls of the other cops, it actually feels like this over-the-top character is, like, somewhat relatable. Sure, there's some stuff where he's just like, there was a firefight.
Remember when I said I agreed
cross-dressing?
with Jeff?
Yeah.
That doesn't count for this, right?
Okay.
Just wanted to point that out.
Okay.
And they waited 10 years for a sequel.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the wait.
No.
No.
I'm still, just when I think I got Jeff figured out with his rating system, it's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You know those stupid fucking Facebook things where it's like pie plus French fry equals 20?
Yep.
That's Jeff?
That's Jeff. You have to
Okay.
figure out what's
but
the
I'm
pie
trying
and what the French fry means.
I'm trying to figure out what makes Jeff take a point off of a movie, because he admitted there's flaws, he admitted there's issues with this, he's admitted this, but yet he gives it the highest rating.
No, it's not a temple. It's not a Last Crusade. It's far from
Oh,
Last
right,
Crusade.
yeah, Last Crusade. But you give it a high rating, but you're.
I still don't
I
understand.
mean, I
It's
understand that
75,
if you
so.
enjoy a movie,
Okay.
you're much more forgivable to the technical issues of it.
No, you don't understand the rating system. If you,
That's what I said. That's
So
what
what are we
I
watching next week, guys?
Oh,
Wait,
well,
wait.
What are we watching next week? Are we doing...
and we're out of time.
Is that it?